Hi guys, it is February 19th, Friday afternoon, a little after 1 o'clock, Southern California. Another beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. It's about 70, and I'm on my Monster Pro formal range test. Second take. You might have seen the first video I published yesterday where the winds were kind of out of control, and I basically had to stop it after day one because I think it's unfair. I'm primarily going to be comparing this for range to the Sherman, and today is a much better day. It's just the winds are more normal. Had a great ride yesterday, and the performances in terms of battery was pretty impressive. I'll put a link to that video if you want to check it out. Put a link up here somewhere. But for those of you who didn't see that video, this is again my formal range test. I do the same the same route that I do with all my wheels. This is going to repeat the Sherman route pretty much exactly, unless I have to go farther than the Sherman, then I'll add some extra miles. Temperatures don't vary too much. When I did the Sherman ride in July of 2020, it was hot, so I did it late in the afternoon. I think I started like 5 o'clock. So I think it was probably about 15 degrees warmer than it is now. But you know, temperatures in Southern California are pretty moderate, so I don't do extremes like Ian, who does the Sherman test in the warm weather and then does the Monster Pro test in the winter of England. Maybe not quite so fair in terms of battery performance, but we'll see. My weight is a little higher than I was when I did the July, and about a pound more than I did yesterday. 182.4 pounds, I think that's what I weighed today with all my gear on. So there you go, the conditions are fairly similar. I'm going to be riding this like I did the Sherman, a bit faster than I do on my other range test. So I will allow myself to go 22. That's more my top speed. On my other tests, I try and go 18 to 20. It's kind of hard. I got to really work on maintaining a max of 22 on this wheel. It's really easy I'm looking down and I'm going 28 miles an hour. So yeah. So anyway, just like the Sherman, I think this will be a fair comparison. I'm hoping the Monster does better than the Sherman in terms of range. Oh no! Tree down. Okay. I had to skip this path yesterday, but that's why I didn't see that yesterday. Just get out to the road here with the trail. Yeah, so I'm loving this Monster. I think I have 75 plus. Yeah, actually, I think I'm closer than 100 miles on this wheel right now. So I think I have enough miles so far, and plus I'm a long-term Monster rider to know this wheel, and I'm loving it, guys. Yeah. Oh boy, for cruising, it's just so heavy and stable, yet powerful. And it's better balanced than the original Monster. The original Monster was top heavy. You know, half the time when I stopped it, I'd sometimes it would want to tip over on me because of the balancing. This is more planted. This is more kind of more Sherman-like in terms of balance. So yeah, so that's good for riding. Definitely, it's more balanced, heavy. I weighed this. I weighed this today. It's about 92 pounds. It's insane. When you lift this up on the handle, it just feels like amazingly heavy. I mean, I thought the Sherman was heavy, so this is 14 pounds heavier than the Sherman. No doubt the heaviest wheel on the planet. But I think, and well balanced. So I think that contributes to its stable riding capability. I mean, it really puts the Sherman to shame, in my opinion, in terms of stability in riding. You know, you're hitting bumps and the wheel doesn't move around like the Sherman. I mean, the Sherman is a much more agile wheel. You know, it's more like an M Super class wheel. This Matsu Pro is more like a monster class wheel. So, all right, guys. So I will get back to you next when I'm at the halfway mark, which should be about 30 miles, and we'll see what the battery is and see how it compares to the Sherman at that same point. See you then. Halfway point, guys. Another beautiful ride. Gorgeous day. Mid-February. Sorry to be rubbing in, guys, but this is just the perfect place to be riding all year round. But I love being able to ride in the middle of winter like this. Nice flowing river. Well, let's see the stats where I'm at. So on the Sherman, I was at 30 miles at this point, and my voltage was 92.9 volts. Yep. And I'm at 31 miles today. 93.5 volts. It's looking good, guys. Certainly not, it's not worse than the Sherman. Obviously it's doing better than the Sherman, and that's encouraging. Because I went the Monster for the Monster Pro for just long rides, riding into the sunset. I love riding on these mountain roads, and you know, to be able to go on a 100+ mile ride without really having to worry about the battery. That's a dream come true for me. I'm really enjoying this wheel. Well over 100 miles now, and it's just such a stable wheel, well balanced because of the battery distribution. Is so much better than the original Monster. It's so much heavier, so it's more planted on the ground. Doesn't wiggle around as much as a wheel like the Sherman. I think it's I'm comparing this to Sherman only in terms of range. Otherwise, I think it's a mistake to compare this to Sherman. I think the only wheel you can compare it to is the other Monster, really. So, and you guys who like to go cruising, and when I say cruising, I don't mean apparently some guys out there think cruising means slow. I think of cruising just like if you're on a motorcycle cruising through the mountain roads. Could be going 50, 60 miles an hour or 30 or 40 depending on the road conditions. It really has nothing to do with speed. It just has to do with comfortable, smooth, stable riding. This guy's like a mini motorcycle. All right, that's enough for my love fest for today. So next I'll talk to you when I get back home, and that will conclude part 1 of the range test. And then tomorrow morning I'll pick it up again and continue the southern route, and we'll see how it goes. See you soon. Okay, time to stop and see where we're at. Almost home. Whew, a lot of riding. Okay, stats time. Okay, first, now on the Sherman, at this point, I was at 57 miles and 87.4 volts. And let's see where we're at. GPS miles, 56.6 miles. So slightly less than the Sherman, and 87.7 volts. So pretty close. Looks like the battery performance decreased a little bit over the beginning of the ride. The thing is, it's so hard. You can't duplicate the ride exactly. Temperature, again, 15 degrees. I would say cooler than when I did it last time, and riding about the same. Winds are probably about the same, more or less. So I'm beginning to think this is not going to be a 100-mile wheel. It might not be close to the Sherman. Again, I don't know how this is going to behave when it gets down to 0. So, all right, I'll see you about 12 hours from now. I'll be riding in the morning and see how it goes. See you in a second. Well, good morning. At least it is for me. The next day, although it's not quite the next day. It's actually 2 days later. So when I wrapped up last time you saw me, I was at 57, well, by the time I got home, I'd put 57 miles on the wheel. And the next day, when I was going to ride, we got big winds in California again. And I didn't get off early, so basically I postponed the ride. And so today's the next day. It's Sunday morning right now. It's about 9 in the morning. Beautiful day. Winds are nominal. Pretty much the same time as when I did the Sherman early in the morning. Not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be a warm day today. Mid-70s. Perfect day for riding. Now, I have adjusted my route today because based on the performance I've been getting, I don't think it's gonna get the same range that that the Sherman got, because the voltage pretty close to what I had on the Sherman at this point in time, and on the Sherman I ran out of juice. Which I'd rather not do. I'd rather not bother my wife to have to come out and pick me up. So even if I got what the Sherman did, I wouldn't make it home if I stuck to the same route. But since the Sherman runs to at least 2 volts lower than this wheel, and I'm not sure, I think this wheel might run down to 78 volts, but actually I don't even know. It might only run down to 79 or 80 volts, right? I don't know if I've seen anyone that's actually ridden this down to 0 yet, which I am going to do. So based on that, I just have to assume it's not going to get the same distance as the Sherman. So instead of doing a loop today, I've adjusted it by I'm basically going to do an out and back. So I'm going to ride down to the ocean, which is just about exactly 15 miles. And I might cut that even a little short, depending on how the battery's performing. And then come back. In terms of conditions, it'll be the same as the previous one. I'm just going to remove a lateral leg from the route. Again, I love the stability of this wheel. It's just so fun to do turns, and carving is fun. It's just the pedal height on this guy is so nice that, it's like the EX series of wheels where you just don't have to worry you're so high, it's just impossible to scrape the pedals. All right, guys, I will see you at the halfway point down close to the ocean. Well guys, this is where I was going to turn back before, but it's not sure what to do. About 15 miles in, I think, and I'm at 30% battery, assuming 78 volts is 0. So let me see the stats here. I'm at the Pacific Ocean right now. $72.5 miles. $85.5 volts. So that's pretty good. So I'm not sure whether I should, you know, it's against my better judgment, but I think I'm going to continue. I'm going to do the same route that I did with Sherman, which means my wife will probably end up picking me up, but I guess it'll be closer to the exact Sherman route. Gorgeous day. All right, I will catch up to you. I think I'll stop where I stopped the last time with the Sherman. Give you the measurements at that point. See you in a bit. I always like to visit this pier on the water. It's fun. And sorry to disturb you guys. And behind me, the Queen Mary too. This is the place I like to do a photo op a lot. Actually, I think I'm going to take a picture right now. Maybe this will be the thumbnail for the ride. And I'm at 24% battery. Let's see. Hard to read this display. I think 84.1 volts. So, we get the mileage. $79 miles. Yeah, 84.2 volts. Not bad. See you soon. Okay, this is where I stopped with the Sherman. Let's see what the stats are. Okay, so on the Sherman, at this point I was 79 miles and 81.8 volts. And I'm at 80.6 miles and 84 volts. Well, I don't know, this performance, of course I'm thinking on the fly, but I have to consider this when I get home and look at the numbers, but it sure seems like the numbers are more, they're not linear. I don't know. Performance seems great. And yeah, I've been riding a little slower along the beach, but pretty much like the Sherman too. You can't go too fast here. I don't know. It's looking good. That's what I love about these range tests. You just don't know how things are gonna work out, particularly with new wheels like this. I mean, this is a new class of wheel. Okay, I will start to report back to you on the way back, just like in the Sherman, a bit more often as things change. Talk to you in a bit. Well, I'm at 86 miles thereabouts, and running about 22 miles an hour right now, and fluctuating about 10% battery per EUC World, assuming 78 volts is 0. Which I don't know if that's true, but I haven't heard any beeps yet. Now, of course, traditionally, Gateway starts beeping at 15%. Of course, you would hope that would not be the case with a wheel with 3,600 watt hours of battery. So it does look like they've changed that. Even under 8% battery right now under load, going up 7%, I'm not hearing any beeps. So far so good. No constraints on speed yet. I mean, you know, again, I'm limiting myself to 22. You know, at this kind of battery level, I don't think you'd want to go much faster anyway, just for safety. All right, talk to you soon. Well, very surprising, guys. I'm approaching 93 miles, and I haven't heard a beep yet. And I'm still maintaining about 22 on average. Going uphill, nothing. And it's in the 78 volt range, 78 to 79 volt. Can't tell you right now as I'm riding, but I don't know. It's definitely looks like it's for sure beating the Sherman. The Sherman, I was walking at this point. So, very, very interesting. I wonder, did this new control board the latest one, did they update the firmware to more sensibly allow it to ride down to 76 volts like the Sherman does. Oh man, I hope that's the case. It sure looks like it. And that is amazing. I'm pretty sure the few people who've gotten the early Monsters, I'm pretty sure they, I think they stopped at 78 volts. So, this is cool. All right, I'll talk to you again when I hear the first beep. So I just bumped into another fellow rider in the wild, which is happening more and more nowadays. And this is David, and he's been riding since October 2019. He started in a 14D, he tells me, and he's been riding in the MSP, loving it. And
it's awesome.
we almost crashed into each other because we were going opposite directions, and I saw him. So I head right for him, just jokingly, right? I put out my hands, like, you know, and then we both didn't know which way to turn to avoid each other. So we both came into the soft stuff, and we didn't actually hit, but it was funny.
It was fun. Yeah. It's cool.
So I'm trying to convince him to. He's got to work on his stamina so he can join me in the tour coming up in October. I think you're gonna come. So he's at the point where he's totally addicted, like all of us, to the wheels. Yeah. And
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I just thought that was entertaining to bump into some. I always love bumping into someone in the wild, and of course he knows me, but I don't know him, so that's always funny.
Yeah, I watch all your videos. So it's cool.
Good meeting you.
All right, good meeting you.
I'm at 94.5 miles and about 78 volts. Stopped, roughly. Riding at 22 miles per hour. Started getting some beeps on some uphill sections. So it looks like the beeps are kicking in at when you drop below 77 volts. Like right now. Slow down a little bit to 20 or so. Wow, so they did make the change. Assuming it was not 76 to begin with, but that's great. Good to know. So, okay, I'm on the flats and it's beeping a little bit now, so let me okay, looks like it's keeping me to 18, 19 miles per hour at this point. Very cool. Okay, get back to you in a little bit when it's worse. Well, I'm on the home stretch. Really surprised me today. Thought for sure I'd be calling the wife. I'm at approaching 98 miles. It's been beeping continue. Even when I stop, it's doing a 1 beep per second. But I'm riding about 17 miles an hour right now. A little above 76 volts under load. So I'm gonna try and run this down till it tilts back on me. I hope I don't have to take too long to do that. Anyway, it looks like 95 miles before any beeps started happening for me. So Pretty good. Beats a Sherman, that's all I wanted. And I think it's going to beat 100 miles though, technically. Run it down to 0 like I do with other wheels. By the book. This is the first 100-mile wheel based on my years of testing these wheels. Okay, well, I'm just burning off the battery going back and forth in this long little road here, and I'm going about 80 miles an hour, and 55.3 volts, 99.3 miles. And I saw the voltage drop below 75 volts. So, wow. They're actually letting this thing run down to 74 volts, it looks like. Very interesting. So, of course, who wants to ride this fast? But it really is good to know that, you know, when on a long ride and you're trying to just eke out the last few miles to get home or to get wherever you need to get, it's good to know that you can do it. So, very cool. It's going to be a 100-mile wheel for sure. Fantastic. I'm at 100 miles, 74.8 volts, and I'm getting slight tilt back. So this is new for Gotway, as far as I know, where they have progressive tilt back. The Sherman did that too. Slowly it would start tilting back, whereas the other Gotway wheels, pretty much you're riding flat-footed and then all of a sudden it tilts back on you. Gently, but it tilts back, full tilt back. So it looks like when you drop below 75 volts, it starts adding a little bit of tilt back. But I'm still riding 8 miles an hour. I'm going to keep riding until it really tilts me back, which I imagine is going to be 74 volts. Okay, well, hopefully you can see the tilt back I'm getting. So I think I'm bringing it into the home, calling it done. It's just progressively getting worse. Yep. Let me cycle the power once. Okay. This should get me home. About 2 blocks from home. Here we go, tilt back again. I really didn't think I'd get home on this wheel. Tilt back is pretty bad. I'm about 7 miles an hour. Come on, you can do it. 1/2 a block. I made it. Home. No walking. Wow, that was a nice ride. Definitely farther than I thought it would be today. Let me get the stats. .74, but I was riding down to 74 point. That's no load, but when I was riding, it was looking like it's about 74.34 volts in that range, with a pretty bad tilt back. And oh, by the way, the temperature on this wheel seems great so far. It's basically, I've never seen it go above 45 degrees C, and you know, it's in the mid 70s right now. It seems to be the steady temperature on this wheel. And what is my miles? 101 miles. Yeah! This total ride, let's see, I'm going to stop this guy. Statistics, 101 miles. Moving duration, 6 hours, 10 minutes. 8 hours and 30 minutes of recording time. Average moving speed, 16.5 miles per hour. Again, that includes all the slowdowns for stop signs, for traffic lights, you know, all that kind of stuff. Again, when I was moving on a, you know, just kind of driving flat, I was averaging 21, 22, trying to keep it that way. My max speed was 24 miles per hour. And these are all GPS times. Now I'll throw up this page on up here somewhere. That's it, guys. I'm impressed. So I'm christening this the first 100-mile wheel, based on all my range tests to date. Very happy, and I'm really surprised at the voltage. I thought for sure it was going to be a 78 volt wheel. I thought maybe I read that somewhere. Did not expect it to be able to ride below 75 volts. Way below the Sherman. Sherman definitely, you're done at 76 volts. And look, treat this as a relative number. You know, if you're heavier, if you're lighter, if you ride faster, if you ride slower, all the numbers are going to be different. But if you want to know just how this wheel rides relative to a wheel like a Sherman, say for instance you have a Sherman, you're interested in a Monster Pro, now you know what kind of range you can get. Definitely more than the Sherman. Solid. What was the Sherman? 93 miles, I think, something like that, when I had to jump off. So rideable, pleasantly rideable to 95 miles. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it, and keep an eye on my channel for more upcoming Monster Pro videos. Tomorrow I'm doing a 7,000 foot mountain climb, which should be about 90 miles total with a couple other guys. See you later.